Access Minnesota. Issues that matter to you. Access Minnesota brings you the newsmakers and the stories that shape our everyday lives, with analysis from University of Minnesota faculty experts. Now, here's Jim Dubois.
Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of Harvard. Apple's Steve Jobs quit Reed College. And of the four founders of Twitter, none graduated from college. Even the Silicon Valley tech stars with higher ed degrees are questioning the value of a college education. PayPal founder Peter Thiel has a bachelor's and a law degree from Stanford University. But in a twist of irony, he's currently offering $100,000 scholarships for students who quit college. In the entrepreneurial world of the tech industry, innovation and higher education are sometimes seen as incompatible. This month on Access Minnesota, we hear from 3 University of Minnesota professors involved in a cross-disciplinary program at the U called Minnesota Innovation Corps, or MinCorps. The program, along with a class for both undergrad and graduate students called Startup, seeks to bridge this gap between the entrepreneurs and the traditional university. We'll hear more about the Startup class and how MinCorps is already inspiring students to create new inventions at the U. John Stavig is the professional director for the Gary S. Holmes Center for Entrepreneurship in the Carlson School of Management at the University of Minnesota. John, welcome to Access Minnesota.
Glad to be here.
Let's talk about the Startup class. It's part of a larger university project called Minnesota Innovation Corps, or MinCorps. Tell us more about the program and how it helps to foster the development of commercial technologies.
Sure. The Startup class is an experiential class for students across the whole university campus at any level. So we've got undergrads through PhD students that bring either an idea or a technology into the class. And it's a process that we take them through by which we force them out of the building to go out and talk with customers, test the big assumptions they have with their business idea, learn from the customer feedback, and hopefully develop their idea.
How radical of a departure is the Startup course from the more traditional classes here at the university?
There really are no lectures in the class. We've flipped the classroom, used a lot of the available materials that the students can watch prior to coming into the classroom. So the entire time that we're together with the students is really applying that learning directly to the idea or the technology that they're working on.
How closely will the students get to work with business leaders in the Twin Cities and throughout Minnesota?
A very valuable aspect of the program is pairing each of the student teams with a mentor. So we bring in our entrepreneurs and residents from the Holmes Center for Entrepreneurship. These are experienced entrepreneurs who've started and built usually multiple businesses that have industry experience, such as healthcare. We bring in like Linda Hall Keller, who teaches in our program, had built Minute Clinic, or we've got a number of other technology entrepreneurs or other software entrepreneurs that work with the student teams and help to give them advice and direction and really leverage their contacts in the business community.
Do you have any inklings as to what kind of products students might develop in the class?
We've had a broad range, and it can be low technology or no technology, all the way up to, we've had wearable devices. We had a PhD student who had invented his own hydraulic pump was in the class just this semester and presented a couple of evenings ago. So it's a full range of students. We're really positioning this and to help our target market are the STEM-related areas, the graduate and PhD students who have technologies that really haven't been through kind of the business-oriented classes that force them to go out, how to talk with customers, how to get feedback, how to listen to them, how to observe them, and really develop some insights that can help them develop a better product and have a better sense of where the market's going.
The class will allow students to seek out potential customers and test the marketability of the products they develop. Tell us about that process of testing and what will happen in the class to help students know whether or not they have a viable concept.
We actually track the number of customers and have a software system in place where we have a scorecard based on the number of customers that each of the teams has spoken to each week and then throughout the whole semester. So it really is a numbers game. Obviously, you've got to talk to the right people, but the more they get out and bounce their ideas off the customers, go out and observe, and also develop a prototype. And one of the things that we do in this class is provide funding of up to $3,000 to each of the team to develop a simple kind of low fidelity prototype that they can get feedback from the customers and observe them interacting with.
John, the university is a big bureaucracy, and you have several different departments coming together here to create this program. How difficult was it to get this done?
Well, fortunately, I think we've got some great leadership, and there are a lot of pockets of entrepreneurial activity throughout the university. So being led, in our case, within the Carlson School of Management, but also great support from the College of Science and Engineering, and then working with the Technology Commercialization Office. So a lot of my efforts over the last couple of years have really been building the groundwork for MinCore to go across campus. We've had a number of experiential classes within the Carlson School, largely for the benefit of the business school students, but the real opportunity is much more on the East Bank, where the science and technology areas are, and we've had a great partnership with the deans in that area and also working with the technology commercialization. So we're optimistic that the bigger ideas are really coming through these type of classes will have a much bigger impact.
We know that the trend in business is toward collaborative teams whose members come from a variety of different disciplines. There's a lot of concern now about liberal arts degrees and the marketability of them. Do you see with a program like this bringing together students from various disciplines, for example, on the technological side, on the business side, perhaps on the liberal arts side with creativity design? Is this part of the program's plan to be a cross-disciplinary effort?
Absolutely. This is really pulling together. You mentioned the College of Design. We're launching a class in partnership with them next fall on entrepreneurship and innovation for design students. We're launching one this spring, so just in another month, for the College of Design and musical students. So there's really interest in this across campus. It's a very applicable concept for students across the whole university. And as you say, getting these diverse groups together, a lot of what we do in this class is less about financially analyzing a business. It's much more about going and understanding human behavior and how individual customers react in certain situations, or how they might use a prototype. And that observation and some of the business anthropology classes that we've helped to develop and some of the design areas are extremely relevant for this. And that's really where the differentiation comes. If great scientists and inventors can develop those type of skills, they've got tremendous capability.
John Stavig is the professional director for the Gary S. Holmes Center for Entrepreneurship at the Carlson School of Management at the University of Minnesota. John, thanks for joining us on Access Minnesota.
My pleasure.
When Access Minnesota returns, we'll hear how MinCore is increasing the number of patents for new inventions being filed at the University of Minnesota.
Access Minnesota will return after these messages.